City volunteers in Mozambique provide epidemic prevention supplies for hospitals in Sofala. A volunteer in Malaysia dedicates herself to sewing isolation gowns for medical personnel. Welcome to the headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In Mozambique, the 4 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Sofala are being treated at Beira Central Hospital. Nevertheless, the hospital lacks epidemic prevention supplies. Therefore, city volunteers have delivered masks and protective gowns to the hospital.
Before people entering Beira Central Hospital, they must first walk through the disinfection passage and wash their hands. Then they can enter the hospital.
The medical personnel is careful about epidemic prevention because the 4 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Sofala are being treated at Beira Central Hospital. The masks and protective gowns have come in time.
It is likely to have complicated case and amount of cases. We want to thank to Tzu Chi Foundation for the donation they have given onto us.
This hospital is the second largest in the country, but they lack resources. We are grateful to have the opportunity to support such an important hospital.
Okay, thank you very much. The health center affiliated with the university also needs medical supplies.
The health center serves about 20,000 population. We just received a need for buying all this equipment, but we didn't have the money for it at the moment, and the doctors were working basically without equipment. So this just came in the extremely right time.
Volunteers give the remaining 10,000 masks and 180 protective gowns to the provincial government for further distribution to different hospitals.
Starting from Cyclone Idai, Tzu Chi volunteers have never left us. During the current epidemic, you have always been here for us. I want to express my sincere gratitude to Tzu Chi.
Novel coronavirus is severe in Indonesia, especially in East Jakarta. Most of the residents are from impoverished families, and their lives are even harder during the current epidemic. City volunteers cooperated with the Indonesian military force to distribute food packages to the people in need.
Single mother Nelly is a chef, and it is not easy for her to take care of her daughter alone. Because of the epidemic, she has no work and is about to have no food to eat. The food package sent by Tzu Chi is a timely help.
The thing the public really needs is food, because the income of most people are greatly reduced, or people even lost their jobs and hence gain no income. Food is mostly needed when compared to other necessities.
In East Jakarta, most people are scavengers or from impoverished families. Their lives are originally difficult. Now, their lives are even harder. Savenden, who lives on picking up recycled materials on weekdays, now prefers going hungry to going out.
Indeed, there is a great impact because everyone is afraid of getting infected. No one dares to go out.
We feel pity for their condition, so we tried our best to help them.
Tzu Chi volunteers cooperated with military police force to distribute food to every household one by one, especially for the impoverished elderly, in hopes that they can pass through this epidemic safely.
I am very happy that Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter can provide us with these supplies. We are very honored to share with the people who are in need.
I hope that these supplies can benefit the local people. We can continue to help and care for others.
Facing the unknown virus, only mutual assistance can help each other overcome any difficulties.
Also in Indonesia, the epidemic has affected the livelihood of low-income families. So Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter, the military and police officers work together to deliver daily supplies to residents in need. Indonesian military Bisaki police station, Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter worked together to deliver daily supplies to residents in need.
We will carry out this mission well and deliver daily supplies to the needy.
These supplies are for low-income families affected by the epidemic. Since the government has implemented movement restriction order, they cannot go to work in the capital. Some people have lost their jobs. The store vendors cannot run their business and odd jobs workers cannot work.
In the supply box, epidemic prevention promotion pamphlet, cooking oil and dye instant noodle. For the residents, the volunteers' visit gives them strength to carry on.
I sometimes feel very sad because I cannot go out to pick up recyclables. I've lost my income. I don't have children and I can only hand on that.
I hope people won't worry too much. But I also hope the supplies will help impoverished people. They can cheer up and not worry too much.
At every distribution, they have more than 1,000 families. The military and police dispatch trucks and motorcycles, then they walk to deliver the supplies to the homes of the residents. Tzu Chi Philippine chapter has been giving out rice to impoverished people in Manila. Tzu Chi planned to distribute rice to 74,000 impoverished households. Recently, one such distribution took place. Let's join them there.
Under the hot weather, local residents who come to receive rice wore masks to obey epidemic prevention orders.
Tzu Chi Philippines also observes the proper social distancing and other guidelines to ensure and to prevent the widespread of the disease or the virus inside the Tzu Chi compound.
The rice gave these residents some hope. There were also people who chose to do recycling to earn a meager income to improve their financial situation.
Oh, that's 250 pesos.
Yes. So instead of doing nothing,
Doing recycling, one can earn $5. It's better than doing nothing. I'm also very grateful that we can get this rice. I want to share it with people who have not yet gotten help. When I got this rice, I immediately shared it with my neighbors.
sinegregate namin, sinyer namin sa neighbor.
If ever that the quarantine will be extended, I think Tzu Chi Philippines will still be able to provide rice or relief to our kababayan.
The epidemic may have crushed many people's lives, but great love will always be around in times of need.
Also in the Philippines, city volunteers in Tatalong, Quezon City mobilized again to distribute rice for the impoverished residents. There's a halfway house that had received rice donations from people, so city volunteers donate vegetables and fruits to promote vegetarianism.
Turning left and then right, Tzu Chi volunteers walk into a narrow alley carefully to visit the impoverished households. People who have been doing massage, being pedicab driver, or doing odd jobs lost their livelihoods because of the epidemic prevention measures.
Maraming salamat po. Nagbigay po kayo ng suporta sa amin. Para po sa makakain.
Thank you for sending rice and vegetables to me. We'll consume them frugally so those 2 bags of rice can last for a long time. Now we only eat 2 meals a day now. Just drink ginger soup in the morning.
Sa umaga po, lang po kami ng dadalaan ng tubig sa lagyan lang po ng loya.
After delivering rice to 23 households, Tzu Chi volunteers also went to a halfway house where there was rice but no vegetables. Volunteers went with a chef to the markets to do shopping.
I saw a message on the internet that after city lockdown in the epidemic, the halfway house needed food desperately.
Bali growing up po silang lahat halos.
They are elementary school and high school students who are in the developmental period, so they must have enough food, which is important for their growth.
Ang masasabi ko po, ako po ay taos puso nagpapasalamat sa Tzu Chi Foundation dahil sa...
I sincerely thank Tzu Chi. Because of you guys, more people get help. The people here really have nothing, so thank you very much, Tzu Chi Foundation.
Salamat at sana mas marami pa pong matulungan ng Tzu Chi Foundation.
In addition to nutritional enhancement, boys from 8 to 18 years old mostly need compassion. Tzu Chi volunteers guidance, which is like the colorful fruits and vegetables in this basket, comprises of love and inspiration.
Under the movement restriction order in Malaysia, many low-income families were unable to go out to work and their livelihoods were greatly affected. City volunteers in Johor Bahru started a charity program to provide subsidies to 113 students.
The situation at home for scholarship recipients is being explained over the phone. While the movement control order is being enforced in Malaysia, volunteers' care still continues.
Many of these families I call live in small village, which is a rural area, so most of them are gardeners and they are paid daily wages. I believe there should be many people affected in this epidemic. There are actually many people like them who cannot find any organization that can really help them.
My husband has no job again now, and hence we have no source of income. I'm very grateful for your timely assistance.
We don't care the amount, but this subsidy is a timely assistance during this epidemic. If used frugally, because we can't go out and has nothing to spend, this subsidy can be used to buy some food.
Tzu Chi volunteers send the subsidies to the families in need in person, so that the families who are facing food shortage can use it to buy food.
We have no income and also no way to do business, so I'm very grateful for Tzu Chi's help. Thank you for their support.
My youngest child is just over a year old. I've already trained him not to wear paper diaper and drink formula to save money. At present, our savings is just enough to have free meals. I am very touched by Tzu Chi's assistance. Thank you very much for your help.
The epidemic has had a big impact on low-income families, but with the timely help of loving people, the harm can be minimized.
In Malaysia, a volunteer in Penang is using her time at home to help people. She uses an old sewing machine her mother-in-law has left her to sew isolation gowns for medical personnel. She said that she feels very honored to be able to sew isolation gowns and contribute to society. Let's meet this dedicated volunteer.
We carry this sewing machine home in a tricycle. The purchase date is July 21st. 1965. It is about 55 years old. It is very important to me. During the epidemic time, it is even more important because I can help sew the isolation gowns and contribute to society. So, I'm very grateful to my mother-in-law for leaving this good sewing machine to me. I will protect it well.
Early in the morning, Deng Xiaofan disinfects the old sewing machine thoroughly. Then she starts to work for the day. She's the second owner of this sewing machine. Having been a student of Tzu Chi's patchwork class, she dedicates herself to sewing isolation gowns when she learned that Tzu Chi volunteers are making them for medical personnel.
Sewing the isolation gowns is different from sewing other things. When I sew other things, the opening had to be small and we had to pay attention to the appearance. The isolation gowns need to be protective, so we have to be very mindful. While sewing this, I'm very careful. I pasted a piece of paper here for a purpose. I pasted it here so I would know the distance between the fabric and the needle. Then our fabric is placed along this line. We will sew it along the line, so it is very even.
During the epidemic time, the sewing machine has become a machine that helps medical personnel save lives. Deng Xiaofan is able to fulfill her wish of helping the medical staff.
When I used this sewing machine in the past, I was just doing something to pass the time. I sewed something I wanted. I never imagined that I can use this to do something meaningful. I feel very honored to be able to sew isolation gowns. There is a saying, it is a blessing being able to do things. I feel that while I have the ability and time to do something for society, I must do it, hoping the epidemic will end soon.
With a simple thought to contribute her effort, Deng Xiaofan is sewing the isolation gowns mindfully. She hopes that day will come when people no longer have to wear masks or be afraid of the epidemic. Tzu Chi volunteer Amy Gan became a vegetarian after her daughter joined a vegetarian campaign at school. To promote vegetarianism, she shares vegetarian recipes and related information on social media.
After the Tzu Chi volunteer Amy Gong's eldest daughter participated in a vegetarian campaign at the Tzu Chi kindergarten, she has been adopting a vegetarian diet with her daughter for 8 years.
I've changed from a meat lover to a vegetarian. I'm a foodie and very particular about food.
With a heart to promote vegetarianism, she set up a chat room on social media to share vegetarian recipes and related information.
I think vegetarianism is great, and the pandemic this time is a good opportunity to promote it. This platform is mainly in English because most of my friends were educated in English. I look up many vegetarian recipes on Facebook, but most of them are in Chinese. There are English ones abroad, but they are all Western dishes and none of them like this in family style with 2 or 3 dishes and 1 soup. So far, I haven't seen any recipes teaching people to cook a simple vegetarian meal in English.
Amy, who are into sports, has a lot of friends who care about health just like her. They became her main target to promote vegetarianism.
Other than sharing these dishes, I also share the vegetarian food, which is healthy, simple, cheap, and delicious. You can find the nutrients in meat from vegetarian diets too. Many of my friends love to exercise and they watch out on their diets quite seriously. I felt that they are pretty much like eating a vegetarian diet, just that they will add a piece of meat to obtain protein. If I told them that they could replace the meat with certain vegetables, then maybe they could not eat meat.
Although meat does have some nutrients which are not easily found in vegetables, but through choosing a variety of foods, vegetarian can still ensure a balanced diet.
If you're a complete vegetarian, some nutrients like vitamin B12 and zinc are lower in vegetables. That's why you should eat a diverse type of food like veggies, fruits, as well as nuts, beans, and mushrooms. Everything eat a bit.
Taegua Kim, a Chinese medicine doctor who has been a vegetarian for years, offers vegetarian breakfast recipes for everyone to start a day with energy.
Breakfast is taken in when your stomach is empty, so we must eat some very nutritious food to absorb the nutrients. We can eat some congee with black beans, black glutinous rice, black sesames, walnuts, rice, and lily.
If you eat a vegetarian diet for a long period of time, your inflammation index will be a lot lower when compared to a meat diet. If there are viruses or diseases, and once you got infected, your body will be stronger to fight the virus and also easier to recover.
Most of the epidemics are originated from animals. Perhaps changing our diet habits is the best way to prevent virus outbreak.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, promote vegetarianism by providing delicious vegetarian meals. They're mindful in preparing the food ingredients and also demonstrating simple dishes.
The grandmother is teaching her grandchild on how to prepare ingredients beforehand. The little hands allow the cooking to be more efficient.
They have much sand, so we must wash them clean, and people who eat them will be healthy.
People can taste the health and the taste of these vegetables.
She cooked them well and they are delicious.
They're tasty and she also arranged the colors well.
Volunteers introduce vegetarian box meals to governments and private companies, so they may learn the charm of vegetarian meals.
It wasn't easy to promote vegetarian diet at the beginning, but if it's the right thing to do, just do it. And this was what I told my fellow volunteers.
A staff from the land registration invited her colleagues to eat vegetarian food, and she was able to get 16 of them. They will learn how to cook vegetarian food from our vegetarian boxed meals.
Volunteers have to bend forwards to wash these heavy seaweeds. Even if they have to cook 1,500 box meals, they do not skip any step.
We must tell them what will cook first so they can cut them first, so it won't become as chaotic as yesterday. We must tell them the sequences so they'll know the second thing to do.
There are also volunteers who donate vegetables or money to help finish these 1,000 vegetarian box meals.
I feel this is very good because if you have never tried any vegetarian meal, you should take this chance and try it. After the first meal, you want the second meal.
Starting from one vegetarian meal, we can gradually expand the strength to protect our body and mind and keep everyone and the land safe.
Taiwan is a world-famous saxophone producer. Taiwan's major production center for saxophones is located in Houli, Taichung. This place also boasts the very first saxophone museum in Asia. Follow our report as we take you to a museum which not only offers guided tours but also live performances.
After arriving in Taichung's Houli, we see a huge saxophone installation, which indicates the first saxophone museum in Asia.
When I came in, I felt a very fresh feeling, as it was a great introduction to the saxophone.
The Changlianceng Saxophone Museum displays a variety of finely crafted saxophones. This one is from Belgium and is the treasure of the museum.
As a saxophone museum, we must have a collection, so we're fortunate to have one produced by Mr. Sax, the inventor of the saxophone, which was produced 170 years ago.
There's also a saxophone from the founder of the museum, Changlianceng. In the photo, the third-generation heir, Chang Zongyao, was only 4 months old.
Grandpa took this saxophone and gave it to me. It is our destiny to carry out this mission in our life.
A native of Houli, the painter Chang Liancheng, some 80 years ago built Taiwan's first homemade saxophone by himself, a skill which he passed down through generations. Each saxophone has more than 400 parts, and the museum is equipped in a way where people can view factory operations to learn the production process up close.
We use a light to test it like a faucet. If there is a faucet leaking, it depends on its tightness of the seal.
The final assembled saxophone is then subject to auditory test and adjustment. Visitors who want to learn to play saxophone can also experience it for themselves.
Cover your front teeth and just rest on top of the mouthpiece. And then let your lower jaw move back with your teeth, making a seal but try not to touch the reed.
With such dedicated instruction, it takes only 10 minutes to produce some simple sounds on this world-famous instrument.
Upon coming here, I hope we can present our story and the beauty of the saxophone. We hope that all people will come and experience it.
For this reason, the museum also hosts a concert hall, giving everyone the opportunity to perform on stage, as well as enjoy music.
This museum is a classic and has such a beautiful and complete presentation of this music to the world. I hope that all fans who love music very much can come here.
The museum also embodies concepts of environmental protection as it recycles copper scraps to creatively produce a number of decorations and even an ingenious sink to wash hands.
We use a lot of components to make side exhibits, and even our bathroom area produces music as water flows through these parts.
The purpose of the Changlianceng Saxophone Museum is to display the beauty of music and dreams, inspiring more people to learn about the beauty of this wonderful musical instrument.
As the epidemic has become contained in Taiwan, senior care stations and children's centers have reopened in Kaohsiung. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.